Hello, welcome. My name is JesseMcDesign. Today, I'm going to be making some fidget sticks. Let's get started. So I come across Black Cross Ltd, I believe his name is. I'll throw up a picture here of what he's doing. It's very similar. It's like a little fidget cigarette type deal. He's also made cone joints as well. So I think the way he does it is he just like stacks up his material and glues it together or whatever, and then he turns it on a lathe or maybe like a mill or something. I'm not really sure, but I figured I'd get my hand at it and I do it slightly different. I'm gonna sleeve it all together with different micarta rods and G10 and tubes and stuff, and just kind of piece it together. One, I think that'll work better for me for the tools I have. I don't have a lathe or anything to be able to do it the way that he does. I also wanted to make it look more like a cigarette or whatever. So I'm gonna put some brown in the center. You can kind of see that with what would be the paper around it. And then same with the back. I have the white in there. It kind of looks like a filter around and then the brown paper around that to make it look like the butt of the cigarette. And then if you can see that there, I'm gonna play around with the layers here, just trying out different things. I might, layer up the brown or layer up the whites or both, or who knows. We'll see what we got, because I'm definitely gonna have a little bit extra I'm gonna be able to play with. But as you can see, I already got this one mocked up. I modeled it off of 100, I believe, or a king size, somewhere in there. I looked up the dimensions, and that's why I got the this size tubes and rods and everything to fit. It's gonna feel like a cigarette, and you can really mess around with it. We have this one pretty much mocked up. I'm gonna take all my material here and start just marking my pieces, and I'm gonna take it to my day job tomorrow and get these cut out real quick on the bandsaw, and then we'll come back and see what we got going on. Okay, so we got all our pieces cut out, cleaned up, which took way longer than it should have, and then roughly put together. They're just kind of in pieces, just slipped together how I want them to be. I immediately noticed a few issues, so I actually went ahead and glued up 2 already and semi-finished them. They came out alright. They're slightly wonky at the joint here because the piece that I put in the butt of the cigarette isn't quite long enough to hold this completely straight how I wanted. I did a test piece with this one here, and there's quite a bit less play, but that would put the tobacco inner into the butt of the cigarette instead of the tip like I wanted, which this one's just going to be backwards, which is fine. I just wanted to try that and see how it would hold up, which I think is the proper way to do it. But I don't have any pieces, and I already cut them to the size and everything I wanted, so I think it'll be alright. These look okay. I might just change my price on them if, you know, a couple of them come out a little bit wonkier than I would like. I also, when I glued these up, I glued them up like this in the in some of these little clamps, exactly like that, and I think that might put some weird pressure on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue the butt together, and then I'm gonna glue the end together, and then we'll glue those two pieces together. And then I think maybe if I lay these down while they're glued together and let them just, you know, cure and get hard that way, maybe without putting that pressure on it, it'll help them be a little bit more straight. But like I said, I got all these pieces together. It's quite a lot. Let's see if I can move these in the frame. It's quite a lot, but that's a good and bad thing about doing batch work. One, you get many items finished at once, but two, like I said, it just takes that extra amount of time to do each step and get everything finished. So I had used 5-minute epoxy to glue these two little sample pieces I was trying out, figuring out things, how they worked. And it works great. You know, it's a lot faster than mixing up like a resin that I normally would use or whatever. And I don't want to just use super glue. I'm not sure that that would be quite strong enough. I want to be able to get this thing completely gooped up. So we're gonna just start working on these little pieces, get each side separately glued up, and then we'll come back and get them fully glued, and hopefully we can make them a little bit straighter than my sample pieces I tried. Alright, so I don't really recall exactly where I left off, what I left off talking about, but I got the rest of these all nice and glued up. I'm pretty sure I was able to get a lot more of them a little bit more straight the way I did it this time instead of how I did my samples. They're pretty close and they're fine, but they're just a little wonky, which, whatever, you know. But this is gonna take quite some time to just go through and sand all these. I'm just gonna start off with I think I got like a 120 grit to start off with, and then we'll jump up to like a 220, and then like a 600, and then like 1,000 really quick, and nothing too crazy, you know. I just want to make sure that most of, if not all of these really deep scratches from getting all this glue cleaned up and stuff is off and out of the way. And then we'll go ahead and we'll wax them up, and we'll probably do even just like a quick little buff with my little buffer. We'll see how that finishes things off. But it's gonna take a while, so I'll throw on time lapse. Alright, so there you have it. I'm pretty happy with how these came out. Most of them are okay. I'm probably gonna sell them in groups of 2 at like a slightly discount. And then there's a few that were like really didn't come together that well. I don't know how well you can see this, but there's like a little gap that didn't close completely. I just filled it with the glue that I was using to put them together, and it looks not the best, but who knows, maybe I'll just give them away or something. But like I said, most of them were okay enough to sell. They're just not quite perfect. And then there's a small handful that I would consider pretty much perfect. I mean, they came out really well. There was just a few things that were kind of an issue. When I was putting them together, I didn't really consider the wobbliness of this jointed area. If I do these again, I'll just make the inner like filter piece a lot longer. So instead of it being like that long, I'll extend it so it's most of the way into the cigarette part, and then I'll make the little tobacco piece a lot smaller, and that'll make it a lot more rigid and make a lot more sense. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but I got a decent, you know, a couple that would, like, as I consider really well. I'm super happy with how they came out. I don't have an issue selling these at the price I was considering at the beginning. And then basically this whole pile here is going to be slightly discounted, but still, you know, there's just, these brass pieces were a little bit more harder than I was expecting to really sand and get all the little scratches and everything out from cutting all these little pieces out on the bandsaw. Just created a little bit more of a mess than I was expecting. And again, not really cutting everything perfectly straight and everything, just slight alignment issues. But again, overall, super happy. I haven't, you know, I like how it looks pretty realistic with like the white filter around the brown filter paper area, and then, you know, the main cigarette is white with a little bit of brown tobacco. I think it's just a cool extra little touch. And again, you know, these are just, you know, little fidgets. You want to twirl them around, do whatever you want to do, you know, just hang out and feel like a cool guy or something. I don't know. But if you like what you saw, give it a thumbs up. It really helps. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe. I'm always over here trying to do some creative, artistic, usually furniture or a painting. Who knows? Leave in the comments below what I should do next. See you on the next one.